Hello, I'm Robin Gibson, and this is the Harvard House Money Morsel. Welcome back to our 100th edition of Money Morsel. Thank you to all you who have liked and subscribed. Please don't forget to do that and click the bell so that you get a notification of when we release a new video. As part of the celebrations for our 100th edition, we have two of these hampers to give away. One is going to go through a Facebook like and share protocol. The second one requires you, when you receive your email that sends you your money morsel, you need to share that email with 5 non-Harvard House clients and include Claire in that email, and that will put you in the draw for the second hamper for those who are not on Facebook. But I'm sitting today with Michael Porter. Welcome, Michael.
Morning, Robin.
So, Michael, I've read your intuition, which is going to go out tomorrow, but for the viewers, it would have been the previous week. And you make this comment in your article that good news is bad news and bad news is good news. So, man, you investment guys really confuse the man in the street. Please, can you explain yourself?
Sure. Morning, Robin. Good news. The good news at the moment is that GDP growth in the US is a lot stronger than what people thought, and the economy seems to be doing better, and employment is stronger, the labour market's stronger. Now, that's all good news. I mean, how often have we been sitting here wishing for economic growth in this country? You know, it's the foundation on which obviously markets can grow. So so that's the good news, is that economic growth is strong, employment strong, everything like that. The bad news stemming from that is that the stronger the economy, the less inclined the Federal Reserve are to start cutting interest rates. You don't cut interest rates when the economy is pumping. You don't need to. I mean, why not? And if the economy is quite strong, then you start cutting rates. You're going to fuel additional strength that's going to cause inflation. So the whole rally in November and December of last year was really driven by this belief that interest rates were going to start falling quite soon this year. So markets had priced in basically that rates would start falling by March at the latest. Yes. Now that is definitely not the case. You know, the Federal Reserve's been pretty adamant of pushing back and saying, hold on guys, you're well ahead of yourselves here, you know. Yes. And the market's now pushed that back to May. I even think it's probably June, July before they start cutting rates, you know. And so the market has conveniently moved on to focusing on economic growth, and that's pushing the market higher. But what pushed the market higher initially was this belief that interest rates are falling. That's been pushed back, but the market's chosen to ignore it. So it's sort of a big tug of war. You can choose what you sort of want to look at the moment, and the moment the market's got kind of rose-coloured spectacles on it in some ways. I mean, they're focusing on the positive interpretation of everything, but there's a downside to it as well.
So from a South African point of view, particularly, I guess, we can't really be in a cutting cycle if America's not in a cutting cycle. Well,
Robin, we can. We started raising interest rates before that, so we could. It is a little bit brave because what you don't want is the rand to start weakening. So the biggest implication of the change around interest rates is that the dollar strengthened. So as soon as the job numbers came out last Friday, the dollar strengthened, the rand weakened. We were sort of trading, 1880 or so to the dollar. We went to 19 in a couple of minutes, you know, and then obviously that puts pressure on our inflation and things like that as well. So we always felt that we could maybe start cutting in May. I think that very much depends on when the election is. I mean, the Reserve Bank is not going to want to be seen to be cutting interest rates a week before the election or something like that. That's just, optically, it's just not right, you know. And the Reserve Bank is pretty independent, and I don't think they would want to be seen to be compromising themselves, even if it's the right thing economically to do, you know. So we might only get a cut sort of June, July as well, which also pushes back just a couple of months, you know. But we need to, maybe we'll hear tonight, today's Thursday, Solar tonight, whether we get an election date tonight.
Yes, yeah. Well, he's promising he's going to give one. Michael, the other thing is, you've talked about, obviously, things looking better in America. Facebook, now called Meta, did something unusual. They paid a dividend for the first time, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, Facebook have never paid a dividend before, Meta, and they announced last week they were going to pay a dividend for the first time. But it's interesting, Robin. Obviously, we're big proponents of income, so we like stocks that pay dividends.
Yeah.
But actually, it has some sort of subtle connotations in there. They've never paid a dividend before because all the cash that they've generated, they basically plowed back into the business. Remember, they were developing the metaverse and all the other things around that. That's subtly been pushed to the bin. I think they've abandoned that slightly, and they've decided to start paying out cash to shareholders. To my mind, that implies that the options for growth are not as attractive anymore.
Yes.
Or, I mean, maybe they've got so much cash they can do both. But essentially, as we well know, when you start paying a dividend, it's very hard to take it away.
Yes.
Yes. And so essentially, once you make that commitment, your focus as a business does turn to, I've got to make sure I maintain that rather than, shareholders don't care what I'm doing with the cash. I'm investing it here. Or I'm actually going to plow $10 billion into some newfangled thing that might come off, it might not. Suddenly you've actually got this constituency to keep happy that you've got to actually look after. So it's an interesting change in strategy. It's not saying it's a bad change in strategy, it's just an interesting one. And almost by implication, you almost, I think, admitting that you're going to have lower growth in the future, that you're not reinvesting for growth all the time.
Yes.
And so then what does that do to the multiples at which you trade and things like that? So, interesting times in US tech.
Yeah. So
That's just one of the interesting stories in US tech.
I'm sure we'll watch it with interest.
Yeah.
Michael, thank you for giving us those insights. Please don't forget to get your entry in to win your hamper. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Join us next time. Bye-bye.